Hey, welcome back, Santa Fe Hills community. So doing another update. Today is the 27th of October. Yes, we're almost at Halloween. Time flies, as I always say. This is a quick video just to kind of catch you up with what's going on. It kind of gives you a quick snap of the market and let you kind of understand what is specifically going on in Santa Fe Hills, right? I've kind of combined the video before for both of the areas that I tried to cover. And I'm probably going to end up doing that again because it just, like I said, a lot of stuff is overlaid, as far as the market goes. And for specifics, like I said, if you're looking for specifically to find out, you just want to know what more in depth, what homes sold for, etc. On the flyer here, there's a QR code here, right here. Sorry about that. There's a QR code on each one, so you can go ahead and scan that and get information as you need it. So again, welcome back. Let me just go ahead and throw my information here, in case some of you don't know who I am. My name is Orzhel, broker owner Realty Max. We service San Marcos and other communities, but specifically we try to specialize in this area because we know the products and we know ultimately how to get things done. So let's start with the first. What's going on with the market? The rates drive the market. As you know, rates have dipped down. There's going to be some start of or reduction, I should say, in tightening, right? So as you can see, the rates are at 6.19, considerably better. Let me move myself here. It's considerably better what it used to be a couple of years ago. 2023, we hit 8, and we fell down. Now we're coming down to 6. We're probably going to come down a little more. This is just my feeling because they are going to try to address the fact that the job numbers are not great. So they don't have much of a option but to go ahead and lower the rate slowly. Now, the Fed only lowers the rate for interbank short-term interbank funding. So the Fed rate change doesn't really directly impact the housing market, but ultimately there's mortgage-backed securities being bought and sold by the Fed as well. So they can always address that by actually buying some more or not. Again, I'm just trying to kind of give you a better understanding of what's going on, right? So as you saw, we're down to, let me close this out, to about 6.18. So if you are going to be buying or thinking of buying, like I said, thinking of selling, that's something you want to consider. Market itself is staying pretty strong for most part. There is some softening going on as far as the buyers when they do buy something. If the home is not perfect, they are going to beat you up. Before we were able to more or less have really good leverage in the buyers. We tell them to do this, and they would do it. But now the buyers can't walk away, and we've seen a lot of escrows coming apart. Now, do I really know what's going to happen? I don't have a perfect device that will tell me exactly, or crystal ball that's going to tell me what's going to happen. However, I can tell you this. The inflation is not going to go anywhere, right? You want to buy assets. A house is an asset. All you're doing at this point, if you know someone that's sitting there in the lines hoping for a crash, they're making a huge mistake. If the rates go down, eventually this market is going to spark off again and prices are going to go up. So even though you may get a lower rate, right, you're going to pay more for the house because inflation is inflation and it's already here. So nothing you can do about it but kind of ride the wave and be in the right spot. What else I want to cover? So we talked about inflation. Overall, I'm going to snap back to the market really quick, just going to give you an idea what's going on right here. So as you can see right here, this is the market for Santa Fe Hills, which includes all the communities, right? Now that included because we've had an addition of obviously Skylark, Foothills, and Ridgeview, right, KB products. And I kind of included them all together to the lower Santa Fe Hills that's kind of outlined by Via Barquero. So as you can see right here, overall, if you look at all the listings, we have about 13 now. About 6 of those are Santa Fe Hills on the bottom specifically, right? So what's going on? As you can see, this one is also in Rancho Santa Elena, right? So this is Regina, this is Rancho Santa Elena. As you can see, 2,300 square feet, about $1,099,000. Is Cayley Street, that's if I'm pretty sure that's part of the Skylar community, and that's a 1,698,000, right? It was listed 10 days ago, but if you look down further, right, you're gonna see that prices are pretty stable. Looks like 710 Casita just came on the market for 1,250,000. We'll see what that happens, because we saw the one on Alta Court right here be on the market. Actually, it shows 9 days, but it really is in the market for almost 50 days. And that's 1,239,000 with a view. So we'll see how this all comes out. But as you can see, like I said, we have adequate listings. We have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the market. So we probably have about a 2.5 month supply if everything goes right, which still makes this a seller's market. However, like I said, whenever you have a hookup or you have a buyer that wants to buy your property, it's not a slam dunk. Now, what we do is we try to get you in a place where you don't have to deal with inspections. You already more or less know what the buyer is going to find because you already disclosed it, because it depends on the program we go with. In some cases, we actually do a home inspection for you. We have somebody to do it, or you can actually use our guy to do a home inspection. I think he provides like almost a 50% discount for our clients. And the great thing about it, you don't have to deal with this in escrow, because you put the home in escrow, then there's an inspection, and then you have a list of 3 or 4 pages of things that the buyer wants done. Obviously, you can tell them to go take a hike, but the buyer can tell you to go take a hike and just walk away, and that's can happen very easily as well. So you really have to keep that in mind. So market's good, rates are coming down. They're probably going to come down in the 5s. That's my feeling. So who is this really going to provide an advantage for? Now, it's going to provide an advantage for people who already have a house and maybe are locked in at 6 and 7%. They want to refinance, so we're probably going to have increased refinancing activity. But I don't believe it really is going to provide an advantage to people who are waiting on the sidelines, waiting for rates to come down, because as soon as they start coming down to a certain point, there's usually a bit of a lag. You're going to see prices shoot back up. So okay, so let me talk about who should be selling, because I get calls all the time and people are, want to ask me this and that. And this is the clients I'm going to work with, okay, because I say no to a lot of people. I'm going to work with clients who have made the decision to sell, okay. They chose me because they know I can get them absolute top dollar for their property. I can do it in the most efficient, effective way possible and make it pretty much headache-free for them because of the steps we take to prepare. That's why people hire me. However, I'm not a magician. We can increase your demand, obviously, by doing certain things. We can do all kinds of tweaks here and there to get you where you need. But again, the market ultimately speaks, right? We can only give for your home based on demand for that particular home. So if you just want to test the market and you have some crazy price in mind, you don't need to call me. I'm sure you'll find someone to list the property. I'm in the business of actually helping people sell the property and making sure they get the top dollars. So I'm not the guy just to test the market. If you want to rent the property, just rent it out, right? There's no need to actually put the home on the market, see what you can get. I'm pretty much, I'm not perfect, but I have a pretty good idea what your property will get. And the way we set up the sale with the coming soon process, we kind of have a bit of a cheat where we're able to cheat and see what the market is going to look like when we actually go active. And that allows us to do some preemptive changes to make sure you guys sell over the weekend. Because like I said, time is money when it comes to real estate, and the longer your home stays in the market, the less chance you have to get that top dollar that you can get. Okay, so with that said, let's just quickly look at some sales that we had. Let me go ahead and hit this one here. So let me go ahead and look at the 3 sales here. Boom. Sorry, I gotta switch back and forth here. All right, so basically we have 3 sales. One in Corte Zafiro, looks like 0 days in the market. I think an agent already had someone in mind. So this was put together. It's a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,800 square feet, right? This one has a view. And that's why I made a comment about the one on Casita Lane. I know that that's against literally against a huge slope. And again, maybe somebody doesn't care about a view, but most people will pay more for a better lot with a view. This one was 2873, 2002 built, Price was asking price was, say, $2 million. They got $1,210,000. Another one closed on Via Barquero. Looks like 4.3, 2497 square feet. They listed it for $1,150,000, and they were able to get 1.2, which is 50,000 more. And again, this was all in September. As I mentioned to you before, right? Getting multiple offers is still not something that is not possible. It's definitely possible. We're still getting that on majority of our properties. It's all about obviously positioning, getting the home ready, making sure you understand the market dynamics and how to take advantage of them, right? It's not, it's kind of a simple process, but it's not really easy. So when people ask me, well, what do you do differently? Well, I always tell them the same thing. It's not really what we do different, it's what we do better. Because each little step that we take ends up being huge in actually getting a home sold, right? Because as I mentioned this before, all surgeons have the same tools, the same training, right? And maybe the surgeon that has much better outcome overall is probably using the same tools, has the same training, but he does something different, not different, something different, something better in each step of the way, where the prognosis for the patients are better. So I kind of look at it this way. It's all the little stuff that add up to really make a huge impact. So let's look at this one here. Last one, 852 Via Barquero, 4.3, about 3,300 square feet, right? On a market for 18 days. 1,325,000 was the asking price, and it looks like they took a bit of a haircut. They're 1,230,000, right? So that's what I got for you for this month. If you're looking for some specific information, feel free, just send me a text. If you're looking to sell, and if you're wanting us to do the weekend program in 72, usually we can only handle about 4 of them a month. So if you have something coming up next month, you may want to give us a call so we can kind of set up maybe a Zoom or something and see if we can get some kind of strategy together to make it happen. So let me just touch base real quick on pendings, right? This is Visalia on top. This is, if I believe, this is the one on Ridgeview, and I have a pretty good idea. Let me take a look. I think that's a brand new house. So that's the builder house, and there's a reason I'm building this up. Well, it looks like maybe it's a resale, but like I said, you can see they've done some nice things to it. It's a nice clean house. So this one, Visalia, right? Originally they had it priced at, it's pending, right? At 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,900 square feet. Originally they had a price of $1,699,000. They dropped the price basically $200,000, as you can see here, right? So time is money. So I'm not sure what's going to close at, but I'm just showing to you that people are adjusting prices because they're probably asking a little too much, or things have been on the market too long. How to prevent this? Make sure you list correctly, because again, when you screw up the listing price, which is positioning in the market, you end up chasing the market down. It's really not a great thing to do. You can lower the price, but I think a lot of demand that you had up front has already dissipated, as a lot of the people have already bought something else. So Codornis, right, 68 days in the market, looks like they had 5.3. This one is 1.2, right? So we'll see what this is going to end up with. If you come with me to watch another video next month, I'll go ahead and cover that. We have one Topanga. That's a 3.2, 1867. 1,150,000. Looks like they dropped this about 50,000. It's an escrow as well. Kaylee Avenue. That's the one on Skylark. As you can see here, it looks like they're on the market for 8 days, 1,849,000. And I looked at this property. This property actually had a lot of upgrades, as you can see, pool, jacuzzi. So this people put some serious cha-ching in here, and it's looks like a very nicely done home, right? So they put in the work when they bought it. But again, this is what I call eye scan. I can't even think for a second. This is what I call eye candy. And this is what people or buyers emotionally respond to. Your home doesn't need to be this amazing, but again, we have to do the little things that make a huge difference, right? That's why I always tell the people that come with me, is that I'm all about getting you the most possible money with the least amount of investment. So if I can get you two or three extra dollars for every dollar you invested in doing something, I'm going to tell you to not do it, because the time and effort is going to be not worth it for you. But most of the time, we try to get at least 300% 300% on the investment. So for every $10 you put in, you get 30 back. Okay, so that's it. We're about at 15 minutes again. If you're watching me and coming back, thank you again. If you haven't done so, subscribe, please. If this is not for you and you feel like sharing this with someone who would be a benefit, please do so. Okay, if you have any questions, feel free to just email me or text me, and I'll do my best to answer. Thank you so much.